Welcome to my dad's podcast. It is called Up and Adam. Oh, and my mom's on it too.
Greetings, one and all. You have found your way back to episode 2 of the Up and Adam podcast. I am Adam, and I'm joined by my newly minted co-host, Mrs. E. Stephanie. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome back to episode 2.
Thank you.
How do you, we got a lot of good feedback on episode 1. Some people reached out, really enjoyed what they heard, thought it was funny, and we got some notes. I'm going to go through some notes with you real quick, but now that you've had a week of being a podcast megastar under your belt, how does it feel?
Feels good. I think I'm getting the hang of it.
Okay. After one show, you have gotten the hang of it, but we did get some feedback last week, so I want to run through some notes here on some things. But I know you wanted to start off in a few different places. You were quite disappointed in your selection of a heist group. And all week you have been ruminating on what you would do differently because you were not prepared to give me your heist group. And so off the top, I know you want to get that out of the way. So let's not prolong this any further here. Why don't you go ahead and give us your updated power rankings for your illicit and just prolific heist group?
So here's the thing. There are a few people who are upset that they were not in the heist group, and they're correct. They should have been. But those people are like really important in our lives, and I'm going to explain why I did not choose them.
Okay.
So one of them being your best friend, Justin, which he totally could have flown the helicopter out of the heist to get us away.
Now, let me ask you a question really quickly. Does he have access to a helicopter that he can just borrow at a moment's notice? I don't know that he owns a helicopter.
I'm not sure, but he trains people on helicopters, right? So there's got to be one around.
Just laying around, he's just going to hop in one for the heist. I just feel like that might, I mean, don't you think that would draw some attention to your crew when the helicopter comes choppering away from the scene of the crime?
Well, okay, the heist is hypothetical anyway, so we're going to hypothetically say that he has his own helicopter.
Thank you for clarifying that. There is not a heist planned.
But then the other person I would have picked would be my best friend, Kristen, because she would be the getaway driver, not me, because she has always, since we were little, been the one to tell me where to go because I never know where I'm going. But the reason I did not pick those two people was because they are our children's godparents. And so if something happened to you and I on that heist, then I would need them to take our children. See, I was thinking like long term there.
Wait, I'm not your best friend?
Well, you are my best friend, but you're in the heist with me. So.
Okay, now you've got too many people, though, because my sister was in the heist. Is she now kicked out of the heist?
No, she's still there, but she's also one of our children's
That's too many people. You don't want that many people in a heist. You got 3 selections.
Well, a getaway driver, a helicopter driver.
And me, apparently.
And you.
Plus you. Do the math real quick. How many is that?
That's 4.
All right, so Danielle's been kicked out of the heist group.
Well, we need somebody to keep a lookout and warn us.
And that's my sister. She's on the lookout duty?
I think she might be.
All right.
I think she could do that.
Okay, so
she doesn't sleep at night, according to her. So if we did it at night,
she'd be awake. Okay, well all right. Well, I'm glad you got a chance to round out your heist group. For those of you who were upset that you were left out of the heist group, hopefully that makes you feel better. That 7 days later, Stephanie has ruminated on this and come up with a new group. And those of you who got left out still, check back next week, where maybe this will just be a weekly thing where Stephanie updates her heist group. Based on the feedback and the people who might be annoyed by it.
Well, according to you, like I can only have 4, maybe 5 people. So
I don't make the rules, Stephanie. That's how a heist group goes. I don't know where you've been. 9, 10 people in a heist group is just unheard of. It doesn't work. This isn't Ocean's 11 here.
That's true.
All right.
But so if I left you out, I'm sorry. I just don't have enough space.
Well, again, check back next week for the Stephanie Power rankings on the heist group and see if you've made it in out there. You adoring fans, you. The second thing that got a lot of feedback this week is your rant, I guess I'll call it, on how you're going to teach the teacher. That got a lot of feedback. I had a lot of people reach out to me and say they just love it when people come to their jobs and tell them how to do their job better. So I know the world is interested to know, did you have the conversation with the teacher and how did that go?
I did not have the conversation with the teacher. I have one scheduled, but when I emailed her and asked for a date, she couldn't meet with me until this coming week. which actually ended up being a good thing because our son was out of school most of the week sick, so I couldn't have had the conference. So check back again next week, but I can teach the teacher because I am a teacher.
Okay.
I'm not coming to their job telling them how to do their job.
A few things to unpack here. So, last week you were just steadfast that you were getting that conference, yet somehow the lowly first grade teacher was able to strong arm you into next week. How did that happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, so there's that.
I think she was afraid to meet with me.
Okay, and please present your evidence to support that. Why would she be afraid to meet with you?
Well, I don't think she was afraid. I think she wanted to get all of her ducks in a row so that she could.
What does that mean, by the way?
Have an answer to my questions.
I feel like we should research what ducks in a row means. Let me ask you this question quickly. I think I know the answer, but I'm not 100% certain. When each of our children obviously has a new teacher or the new school year starts, do you go out of your way to let that teacher know that you are indeed a former teacher and that you teach teachers? Is that part of your thing? Are you like, hi, I'm so glad to have Addison in your class this year. She's such a good student. By the way, if you ever need anything, I'm a former teacher. Is that part of the shtick on your first couple of days with the new teachers?
I actually usually don't. And I didn't even tell this teacher of our son's until she asked me at our first conference what I do, and I told her. She started that.
Okay. All right. So, but you could have just been vague then. I work online.
I did say that. And then she said, doing what? And I told her. And then she said, well, what age group are those future teachers? And I said, early childhood, which is
all right.
what she is.
I'm going to have to put this on the poll. Does anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that the teacher just browbeat Stephanie to get that information out? I'll put it on the poll. As soon as this releases, you'll be able to vote in said poll. Speaking of that, you can find us places. Stephanie, so here's the thing. Previous to the show, I used a lot of Instagram. But, our Instagram following pretty strong. You could find us there at Up and Adam Podcast. A lot of underscores in there. I think it's Up _ and _ Adam _ podcast _ maybe not the last underscore. You know what I mean? Facebook seems to be working out for us, too. I wasn't a big fan of Facebook. We're going to get to that in a second. But we have a lot of impressions on that. Do you know what that means?
No.
All right. So
views?
Yeah, there we are. So you can find us on both those places, and that's where these alleged polls will be posted. So I hope that all of you will get out there and post. For those of you who liked and responded, we thank you very much. For the few of you who downloaded and listened, we thank you as well. And hopefully you'll continue to listen. The other piece of feedback, Steph, that I got was the audience felt like they didn't get as good of a chance to know you as they would have liked of.
Wow.
Luckily, your guy over here, all kinds of great ideas. I'm going to rectify that first, okay? So this is, we might do this for a few shows until we all feel comfortable. You're sensing a theme here. Each week we're going to redo the same thing over and over again, where Stephanie's going to tell you how the teacher conference went and the heist group. So this, we're going to start this off with getting to know you, Stephanie. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you to give us the answer. She has not been prepped for these questions, so God knows what we're going to get here.
I have not been.
I know you have not been.
I actually didn't even know this was coming.
I know you didn't, and that was intentional on my part. Luckily, I'm the producer, and that's that. So here are some questions for you. Are you ready?
Are these like rapid fire, like I just give one word answers?
If more than one word is necessary, feel free to give one word. I think you may want to expound on some of these if you get the choice to. So first things first, what is your favorite food?
Dessert.
What kind of dessert? That's a broad category.
That is. That's because I like all kinds of desserts.
All kinds of desserts.
Cake,
okay.
Cookies, chocolate.
Cake, cookies, chocolate. Okay. So also, by the way, hopefully
Italian pastries.
Italian pastries. I don't understand Italian pastries really quickly.
I know you don't. It's really been a hard thing in our marriage.
It has not worked out well. So your guy over here, I didn't grow up with a lot of desserts in my life. We were very plain from an eating perspective. You know that now as you live with me for the years that you have. So for me in my house, desserts was cookies, it was ice cream, it was cake. I meet this one over here, and we're at some sort of a party, and there's like an almond-crusted bear claw with pear toppings on it, and they were like, there's dessert. And I'm like, where? All I see is this fig thing in front of me. I didn't understand. I still don't quite grasp that.
So I grew up in a family that had dessert with every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I promise I'm not 300 pounds. And so I grew up in an Italian family, and they loved going to the Italian bakeries on the weekends and getting pastries and fresh rolls and bread and pies.
None of which was dessert. Also, funnily enough, Stephanie is the leader of a fitness group. Okay, so next.
I work out so I can eat.
Do you now? Next question. What is your all-time favorite song?
Oh,
here we go.
I don't know that I have one.
You're going to have something. What song comes on the radio, on the boombox, if you will, that you're just like, man, I'm feeling this one?
I really like that new Post Malone song.
Wow. Wow, very good. Okay, you happen to know the name of it, which is fantastic. Here's the other thing about Stephanie. Does not know the name of any song ever.
That's true.
And also, somehow listens to music, but doesn't hear the words. I don't know how that happens, but she listens to the music, but yet doesn't understand. Our 6-year-old is in the car picking up words and picking up phrases, and she's like, I didn't hear that. What?
I just listen to the beats.
Just the beats. Okay. All right. What is your all-time favorite movie?
Oh, man, you really should have prepped me before.
Why is that? This shouldn't be hard. Just name your favorite movie. It's not hard.
I barely ever watch movies.
But you've watched movies before, yes?
I have.
Okay, here we go. So we're getting someplace. Yeah, comedies, dramas, romances, dramedies, rom-coms.
Oh, goodness. I like comedies.
Okay.
But
would you like to name a comedy that you like in particular?
I can't think
you
of
can't
one.
think of any.
Just like I don't know names of songs, I don't know names of movies. I really, really enjoyed the movie Wonder. But
okay.
I cried through the whole entire thing.
And so we're clear, not a comedy.
Yeah, I know.
Because you mentioned earlier you like comedies. So that is not one. So Wonder is your all-time favorite movie?
Oh, no, I can't. I don't know. I don't think
you
I
don't
have
know.
one.
You don't have one. Okay. Great. This is wonderful. Okay. I wrote this one down. I wrote it down with a chuckle. We understand your profession. But what is your dream job?
Napping?
Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it for 1,000. Okay.
No, I would like to be a fitness instructor.
Okay. All right.
Why are you laughing?
What is your all-time favorite TV show?
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. Okay, we're getting someplace now. We're getting someplace now. Okay, they're gonna get a little tougher here. I got one more easy one, and then 3 tough ones.
Oh boy.
Okay, so the last easy one is, what's your dream vacation spot? Where do you want to go? Dream vacation. I'm not paying for it, by the way, so whatever you say here, I'm not bound to, but what's your dream vacation spot?
This one's easy. I've always had a dream of going to Hawaii.
Hawaii it is. Okay, so we're not going there. All right. This was
Thanks for that.
You are most welcome. I mean, you got all these jobs. Maybe you can...
Yeah.
You got some airfare laying around?
I guess I'm going by myself because that's all I can afford.
Fair enough. Most embarrassing moment in your entire life? Everybody just sit back and enjoy this one. If you don't have any, I've got a couple for you, but I figured I'd let you answer.
I've had a lot of embarrassing moments because
How about I do this? How about I give you my top 3, or at least my top 2,
okay.
and you get to select which one of these you like the most. Okay. So there was a time in college, and if you're listening to this, Mike, Chad, you might remember this. You and I believe it was you and I, were playing a game of Connect 4, and you asked me how many you needed to win.
And I do remember this. And I said, do you need 5 across?
You were confused on how many you needed to win Connect 4. So that's option A.
That was the day you fell in love with me.
Was that? There was a lot of things that happened that day. Option 2, also in college, we were playing volleyball, and you were and you're not a natural volleyball player. I mean, you'd like to bump it around a little bit, as they say. And for some reason, you were just standing there by the net doing your thing, not really doing much. And the ball clocked you right in the nose, and you went running off to the corner and stood there for like 10 minutes in tears.
It hurt.
I came over to try to console you. I had a hard time keeping a straight face during that. I still do now. That may have been one of the more embarrassing ones.
Well, then that same thing happened to me with a football a few years later.
It did.
Tailgating. Yeah, and I cried.
How does that happen to you often, you think?
I don't know.
Okay. And
I don't see very well.
Well, that's also, that doesn't bode well for me. The third one is we were heading into the hospital for the birth of our firstborn, our lovely, precious Addison. She was on her way, and we are driving to the hospital. It's like 4 or 5 a.m. It's super early, And we get there, and I'm parking the car, and you're coming inside, and you're like, okay, we gotta make sure we get the epidural. We gotta make sure we get the epidural. I want to I know they gotta get it soon, because if they wait too long, you're not eligible, and I'm blah blah blah. And so we get to the counter, and we're like, hi, we're here, we're having a baby, yada yada yada. And you're like, don't forget to tell them about the epidural. Don't forget, I need the epidural. And I'm like, honey, they're going to think you're a drug addict. Like, relax. We'll get you checked in first, and then we'll get you the epidural, which we did indeed get said epidural. Is that correct?
We did. Not right when I wanted it.
Well, I mean, they can't do it in the parking lot, apparently.
They did skip the blood work, though, to give it to me.
Good talk. Yes, they did. And they also probably made a note in your chart around potential drug user. So those are 3 that I have. Any of those that you want to select from as potentially yours, or do you have another one that I missed here, which is all entirely possible?
So I would cross off number 3, because that wasn't embarrassing to me. I was in pain, and...
Wait, pain? You've been pregnant for like 6 minutes at that point. It wasn't like you would like...
I'd been pregnant for 6 minutes.
Well,
I've been pregnant for 10 months.
You had been in labor. Ish. I don't even know, labor in air quotes, for 6 minutes at that point.
Yeah, this is coming from a man who's never been pregnant.
How do you know?
Or had their water break in the middle
of the night. What about that one time?
So I would say that the volleyball thing was more embarrassing. Because the Connect 4, like, you guys already knew I was like that, but we were playing volleyball with other people who were not aware that
you had like a tendency to get hit in the nose. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's fine then. All right. So last 2. If you were stranded on a deserted island all by yourself, and you could only bring 3 things with you, not people. So 3 things, objects with you. What are you bringing on the deserted island?
Is there allowed to be technology on this island?
I'm not sure the Wi-Fi signal, but you can give it a shot.
Okay. Oh, boy. I definitely want a blanket, because I'm always cold.
Blanket is okay.
Even if it's in...
That's an interesting choice. Blanket for number 1. Great.
Food.
Okay. You're going to have to be more specific for me. What are we looking at here? Oh. Food for like just a...
I guess I'd want to bring, like... I don't know. If I bring canned goods, then I need a can opener, and that would be my 3rd thing, so...
It's much better when we work this out live on the show.
I don't know.
Okay.
Some sort of food.
And the 3rd?
Well, I would say my phone, so I can call for help.
Call for help. Somebody come help. All right. And last but not least, Stephanie, 3 words that you would use to describe yourself.
Kind. Thoughtful. Sleepy.
Okay, I agree with 33% of those. That sounds like a...
You don't think I'm kind or thoughtful?
Why did you pick those 2 as the ones?
Because I think I'm kind and thoughtful.
I mean, that's it was your list, so that works out for you. Here's what you people don't know about my wife here. Here's what you guys... I'm going to let them in on the secret. They're already listening in. If they've made it 18 minutes into this thing so far, you're already invested with us, so you're going to stick with us. My wife, she's got you all fooled.
That is not true.
All fooled. All fooled. So for those of you out there who she knows, like, she is really good about, like... if somebody's, little kid has like a hangnail, she makes sure to send you a little text and like, hey, how's Timmy's hangnail? Right. And she loves doing that. Somebody in our family, me or one of the kids, can have like broken limbs. And she's like, I'm going to go take my nap. So she's got you all fooled. But I mean, I'm sure that, it comes from a good place.
That is so not true. Our son came to me today and said that his ear hurt. And I literally dropped everything and brought him to the doctor.
Dropped everything?
And we were at the doctor and at the pharmacy and home within an hour and a half.
True or false? That is or is not because you're a germaphobe?
Okay, it might be because I'm a germaphobe, but I just didn't want him to be in pain.
He seems to be okay now, by the way.
That's the Advil.
All right. So hopefully now you've gotten to know Stephanie a little bit better. Hopefully they feel... I don't know if you guys need to know me any better. I feel like you guys know me.
I think you should give your 3 words that describe you.
Oh boy.
Now you can be in my shoes.
That's okay. It's a PG show, so I will. I'm gonna go humorous, sincere, and creative.
I agree with creative and humorous.
Sincere doesn't work for you.
Depends on the day.
What do you mean? I'm not.
That's for another day.
Why is it not for today?
Because that could take a while.
All right. Well, so if you've listened to this first segment thus far, now you know some of us better. Some of us have lied to you, and I'll let you decide who that is. But stick around for more fun.
My dad tells my mom what's going on in the world. This should go well.
As always, thank you very much, Addison, for that lovely introduction. So this is the part of the story we talk about current events. I said story there. I didn't mean that, but we're going to do it differently. Last week, Stephanie just rummaged through her phone and found some stuff. So in this case, we've thought about some stories. I've got them on the wheel here. You guys can't see the wheel. I'm going to spin the wheel, Stephanie. Whatever it comes out to, we are going to talk about that story. So who knows what we're going to get here. I'm going to spin the wheel. Hopefully it's something that you want to talk about. And the first story, I didn't make this up. This is the college tuition scandal. And so let me backdrop this for those of you who do not know. For some reason, Stephanie is uber interested in this story. I'm not sure I understand why, but some Hollywood types, some rich folk types were caught in a scandal this past week where they were paying large sums of money to get their kids into colleges. Some notable names, Lori Loughlin, who you may know from Full House, Felicity Huffman, who was on, I believe, Desperate Housewives. Do I have that right?
Yes.
And so they were busted getting their kids into school. And Stephanie, you have taken an interest in this story for reasons that I don't quite understand. And so I'll let you have the floor here and explain what interests you about this.
I think I'm just interested in it because I feel like didn't we already know this was going on for years and years and years? And it's way more than just these two women or families who have done this. And they're just now making it a big deal. Like, I feel like it was kind of just already known, like, rich families did that. And then I saw today that this one mother is suing those two women for $500 billion. Because,
are you sure it's billion, by the way? Did you read that story correctly?
It did. I did.
It did. I did.
I don't know if they reported it correctly, but...
Me.
But she's suing those two ladies because her son did not get into one of those schools. And she's saying it's because basically their children took their child's spot. For me, I don't think this lady should be suing those two women. She should be suing the schools or the man who, I don't remember his name, the man who is like the one that they were paying to do all this stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Instead of the two women.
Okay. Probably harder to do that, I assume. I assume it's easier to try to sue a person than an institution. So maybe that's part of the thinking. I don't know. I wasn't really surprised. I mean, this had a college sports angle to it as well because these kids were allegedly coming to be part of college sports programs and coaches were maybe getting paid, administrators were getting paid. In some cases, people who hadn't obviously played sports ever were getting scholarships for said, or not scholarships, rather, getting admissions for said.
On the team
for said accomplishments. What I don't understand is they paid a lot of money. I saw somebody pay like $200,000. Is that right?
I think I saw up to $500,000.
Up to $500,000. What? And so I guess the thing that struck me the most about this particular story is, not that to your point, it's probably been going on for years, but the why behind it, like the ego behind it, because in theory, if you've got $200K or $500K to drop on getting your kid into a school, you could just give your kid that $200K or $500K and let them like go live their life and start a business or do something else. Clearly, they wanted the prestige of saying their kid went to X school. And that part I don't quite know that I understand.
Yeah. We also don't live in that kind of lifestyle. But I think for them, it's more
Wait,
about,
what?
Believe it or not.
I thought you said we were... Oh, great. Here we go.
But I think for them, it's more about being able to say, my kid goes here, then, to them, that money is like... No
but some of them were going to USC. No offense against USC, but like I could say, Harvard, Princeton, Yale. I mean, I guess you name your top 5 academic institutions. Some of them were involved in this particular scandal. But I mean, USC, no knocking USC, but
yeah,
$200K to get in USC.
Yeah, that could just pay for more than their 4 years of tuition, probably.
Yeah, and this is just the right to get in. This doesn't mean you get free room and board. You still have to pay the regular tuition. And you still have to do all the work too. I saw that one of Lori Loughlin's daughters essentially is like, I can't go back to school now with all the scandal that's going on. How do we feel about the children in this situation? Do we feel bad for the kids? I don't know what they know, so let me start there. Maybe they were in on this the whole time, maybe they weren't. But do we feel bad for the kids in this spot? Like their parents did this, or is it just kind of like, hey, sorry, sucks to be you?
I do feel bad for them because in most of these cases, I don't think that the children even asked for their parents to do this or even really cared if they were going to a certain school or not. And like, I was all confused at like the whole rowing thing. Like they had them take pictures with them being on the rowing team in high school. And then they're actually not even on the rowing team now in college. So it was like, why did you even waste all that time and money doing that if they're not even going to row?
Well,
do you think they just got kicked off the team because they weren't good? Or were they ever on the college level team?
Is this a serious question?
Yeah.
Do you not understand the scam here is that they get special admission consideration because they're allegedly going to be college athletes, right? So they present these women, kids, whatever, to the athletics commission and I guess some of these other people, and like, hey, this person's a great athlete, we want them on our team. And typically athletes or people of some sort of a notoriety there get special consideration. So I think the thinking being that they would say like, oh, they're such a great rowing athlete, we need to have them. After that happens, nobody keeps tabs on like who's on the rowing team. So I don't think there was ever an explanation that they were supposed to be on the rowing team. I think that was just
okay, because I was like, well, wouldn't they have had to be on the rowing team then?
Yeah, fair question. I don't know how they logistically said, hey, by the way, we're not going to have these two superstars on the rowing team. I'm not sure how that happened per se. I was pretty annoyed too. I mean, there's a lot of the Aunt Becky jokes out there.
Yes.
I mean,
she's getting it a lot worse than Felicity Huffman because of who Aunt Becky portrays on Full and Fuller House. Sure. And she's on all the Hallmark movies. So
yeah. I could care less. I don't know.
I think people just need to remember that she was playing characters and that wasn't her.
That's a good public service reminder, Stephanie. I'm glad you got that in there. So let's, I think we exhausted that story. Let's spin the wheel of stories here. Let's see what we got for topic number 2. I really hope you have some material on this topic.
Is it a Kardashian topic?
Are you big on Theranos with Liz Holmes? Do you know anything about that?
No,
it's a fascinating story. You guys should read this. This lady essentially started this business and had no money to start the business, and it went under. So we'll take that one out of the rotation there. I guess I should put all these on here. I'm not sure what you were aware of here. Let's continue to spin the wheel here. Just spinning the wheel. See what we got. See what we get. So we can go deep on here. Let's go. How about this one? So there was an outage this week, Stephanie. I don't know if you kept track. I know you did, probably. There was an outage this week. Do you know where the outage occurred?
I think on the East Coast, right?
Okay. Yes. You're not wrong. Facebook was down for a while.
I did hear that.
What did you do?
I don't think it affected us.
You were good?
I didn't notice that it wasn't working.
You were a fervent Facebook user. A lot of people are anti-Facebook these days, saying that it's basically a way to track you. It's ads. A lot of people on the ground swelling of deleting their Facebook page. I know you are so pro Facebook. It's not even funny. Can you explain that to people really quickly again? Your pro Facebookness for those who haven't had the pleasure of hearing this version.
I'm just pro Facebook because I don't have any of the other social media accounts. Twitter is confusing to me, and
it's actually not hard.
And Instagram, what, you only need a picture? You don't need a picture?
You need a picture. You need a picture of some sort. You can just do a story, but that's also a picture. You could do some typing, but it's you need a picture. Let's tell people the real reason you like Facebook.
I actually use it to keep up with like events that are happening around.
Okay. And the other real reason?
I like being able to keep up with like old friends. Seeing how their family's growing.
You're kind of nosy, essentially.
Yeah, I guess I am nosy.
Well, so
not noisy. Nosy.
You're also noisy. So then, is there any chance you were ever deleting your Facebook page? Even all these scams, all these fake news situations, are you ever getting rid of your Facebook?
Maybe.
What's it going to take? What do you think? A lot. I mean, there's a groundswell of stuff. A lot of people are saying delete Facebook. It's just going to be the the death of society, and it's nothing.
But
but bad
Instagram
news.
and Twitter aren't the death of society.
Twitter is a lot different than so Instagram owned by Facebook. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So they're coupled together as an organization. Twitter's just basically 140 characters, now 250 characters. They're just saying whatever you want to say.
Yes.
You don't require a picture.
You don't think they're following you at all. There's no advertisements on there.
There are some advertisements. Yeah, you get advertisements. There are certainly advertisements on there. There's not a lot of hacking going on. I didn't see the founder of Twitter being investigated in front of Congress.
That's true.
That's true. So no
but
chance.
The founder of Amazon is also in the news lately.
What did he do?
He is divorcing his wife and supposedly been cheating on her with some other lady.
Okay. So you're gonna get rid of Amazon. I mean, and that's a whole different scenario. Then that's just you don't maybe like his lifestyle choices.
It's true.
Yeah, this story didn't go anywhere. This story might get you someplace. It's a tearjerker. This is what came up.
Oh.
You want to read the story topic that came up on the Wheel of Fun here.
Luke Perry from 90210.
Luke Perry, yeah.
It was very sad.
Very sad. I was sad.
I was as well. And then that weekend they showed the best of Luke Perry on, I don't know what channel it was, but some of the 90210 episodes. It was sad.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is an embarrassing fact or just a fact. One of the things that you might not know about your guy over here, seen every episode of 90210 probably multiple times.
More than multiple.
Probably could know pretty much anything you want to know about 90210. If you have any questions, I can probably answer for you right now.
I'm surprised you're admitting this.
I mean, you don't hide what you hide. So it was certainly a sad affair to see Luke pass away. I didn't know him personally, although I did spend. So true. This is a true story. I believe my sister can corroborate this. I think this is true. Luke Perry and I were once in the same room.
What room was that?
Believe it was the Plantation Square Mall.
Oh, you must have been young.
I was young. I don't know how old I was. This had to be circa 92, 93. Luke Perry was making a trip down to the Plantation. I believe it's Plantation Square. Somebody correct me. Maybe Pembroke Pines. It was a P city in South Florida. And my mother and sister, and I want to say somebody else, I don't know who that was though, went to the mall to see him. And when we got there was probably legit 10,000 people in the mall. And so we had a position nowhere near where he was supposed to be, but we could have seen him. And apparently when he came out on stage, everybody started rushing it, and then they escorted him out of the building. And so we did not get to see nor meet Luke Perry, but he and I were in the same room together as far as I know.
Well, that is pretty cool. I have seen footage of where when in the early years where they would go to the malls and they had to end up being escorted out because it was so crazy.
Well said. Yeah. So certainly a sad moment. Yeah.
But it also, I know I talked to you afterwards, like, oh goodness, maybe you should get a physical, maybe, have your heart tested. And I saw a lot of people, it kind of made them think.
What was your favorite Dylan McKay moment from 90210? Do you have a favorite episode or moment?
Oh, wow.
Here we go again.
Mine would be probably the very last episode where it looks like him and Kelly are finally going to be together at the end.
Season 10. Ode to Joy, I believe that one's called. That's the David and Donna wedding, right? Where it's at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
I cried through that whole thing.
You cry through a lot of those things.
I've seen the episodes I don't know how many times. I still cry in almost every episode.
Yeah. You know what's coming, right?
Yeah, I know it's coming. I cry in commercials, so.
That is fair. You do cry a ton. But you don't cry about real life stuff.
I don't cry about real life stuff.
Yeah, you don't cry about real life stuff. Why is that, you think?
I have no idea.
Huh. We should tackle that conundrum.
You probably don't want me to cry commercials, TV, and real life. I'd be crying all the time.
That'd be true. That'd be true. Yeah, it was just sad to see Luke go. I don't know him personally, but again, I grew up watching that show. Still do watch it. It was still on our DVR. We see it from time to time. Yeah, sad to see somebody go.
Yeah, and I feel bad for his fiance and his children.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I guess Rest in peace to Luke Perry. We should probably just end the segment now. Do we want to go into the other stories?
Probably not.
I mean, let's just end on a down note. What do you say?
My dad and mom tell you what to do. Good luck with that.
Yeah, so hopefully it goes better than when we tell Addison what to do here. So let me reset a little bit about my life for a moment here. So Mrs. E and I are laying in bed last night. Not what you think. And out of nowhere, she turns over to me and she asks me the following question. Why don't you go ahead and ask everybody?
If something ever happened between you and I and we were divorced, would you use an online dating service, app, whatever, to find somebody new? And it wasn't out of the blue. It was a commercial about an online dating.
Smack dab out of the blue. So yeah, your guy had to scramble a little bit to figure out what was going on here and try to navigate some landmines. And so my response. So here, this is a true story. A lot of people make fun of. I don't know if make fun is the word. I have a unique perspective on a lot of things, and one of them is if you've listened to previous shows, we talk about the I love yous, and where I often tell Stephanie I love you until further notice.
Not often. You have told me a few times.
See,
because it's until further notice.
You're welcome. And so I get a lot of people make fun of that, but I am firm on this stance, and this is recorded, so I may have to edit this out. So we'll decide that later. If for some, actually no, hold on. There's a clause here. If for some reason you and I were no longer married and it was because of a divorce, that's one thing. If there was something tragic that happened, that's another thing. I intend not to remarry at that point.
Yes, I knew about that part.
Now, divorce is a different story. And so would I go on an online? So you seem to think, so when I you posed this question to me and I tried to understand why the heck you were asking me this question. And then I inquired further. You were like, I just feel weird about that. Like, help me understand your reluctance with the online. I'm glad you, by the way, you're not on any online dating sites, are you?
I am not.
Do I need to do some checking here?
You could go ahead and check. I don't even know the names of them or how to get to them.
I doubt that. But you feel like there's a stigma with online dating, yes?
Kind of. And I don't know if, even though we were divorced, I'm sure I would still love you in some way. And it would be weird to me if you found a new chick through your computer. Like, don't introduce some random girl from the computer to my children. Well,
I mean, I think you miss a few steps there. I don't think I'm going to be like, hi, you look nice on the computer, come by the house. Like,
I would hope not.
I don't see it any different than like how you would meet anybody. You and I happen to meet in college. Actually, technically speaking, we sort of met through online dating.
Or what was that? Instant Messenger? But that wasn't even you and I instant messaging. That was our roommates.
I'm just saying, if it was not for the online world, perhaps this union here, thanks a lot, Kristen and Mike, this union here doesn't take place.
That's true. Although we probably would have met since you lived in the apartment under
But I had plenty of neighbors. We had neighbors across the hall, next to us. I don't even know who any of those idiots were, ever. I don't think we ever met them. The only reason that we ambled up to apartment 308 is because Mike and Kristen had conversations via the AOL instant messaging platform.
Right. That was big back then.
That was big in the day. So we technically are a byproduct of online dating, but I don't see it any different than like if I was going out to a club and I just met some random person.
Okay, but I don't want you to find a girl at the club either.
Where am I finding these women at? Where am I going to find these women at? Where is the... So, okay, I got a pen and paper here. Write down the acceptable places I can go find women at. Just real quick.
The park.
The park. All right.
The gym.
The gym. No, gym's not a bad idea. Gym's tough, though.
The grocery store.
The grocery store. All right. So, let's
work.
Work.
Well, maybe not work.
Let's not do work. That's not going to work out. Especially, so okay, never mind. So let's walk through some of these places, right? Put yourself in the shoes of single woman, and you're at the park. You're just by yourself.
You're
apparently.
both there with your kids.
You're okay. So now, yes, if I can use the kids as bait, I got an option. I can't do that at the gym, though.
But here's the thing: if she has children, you probably won't like her because you don't want more children in your life.
Probably won't like her.
I know you don't want more children in your life.
Depends how old they are. No, you're right. I don't want that in my life. So I'm using the children as bait. So the park, the gym, the grocery store, and maybe work, but probably not.
Probably not.
Those are the places. So I'm just going to be shopping, the grocery store, getting a cool little sixer of a Bud Light.
You could be
some
introduced
salsa.
through mutual friend.
Mutual friends. Okay. All right. So that's better than
Work.
well, obviously work. That's better than online.
I think so. Yes.
Why?
I don't have a reason why. I just don't like it.
I don't understand.
I just feel like because you hear about all these crazy catfish stories from people online,
So you're concerned about your ex-husband getting catfished? That's what your concern is?
And for my children, yes.
Yeah, okay, and your children. Well, again, take the children out of it for a second. Like,
where are they going if we get divorced?
That's a great question. Where are they going? I mean, trusted that I'm not going to start bringing floozies by the house with the kids around.
How about this?
What's that?
How about we just don't get divorced? It'll be a lot easier.
It'll be a lot cheaper.
That too.
Well, not for you, it won't. Well, that online teaching fortune I could tap into there from an alimony standpoint.
You will not be getting any alimony from me.
That's fair. Okay. Again, I don't understand the stigma with it. I think you're a little.
So you're okay with it. So if we were divorced, you would be okay with me finding somebody.
Well, again, I don't know if we're divorced. Okay, let's. There's a lot of factors I need to know first before I answer.
Let's say it was
question.
a mutual divorce, and you
well, do I have somebody else lined up? Because that's okay. So if I got somebody else lined up, you can do whatever the hell you want. Yeah. If I'm good, then at that point I won't have to be jealous and petty about it. But if like we decide mutually that like, hey, it's not working out, I really don't like you, you really don't like me, and it's a sad moment, and then like you go back to the apartment and you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden a week later you got a dude. Yeah, I got some problems with that probably. Now
I'm living in an apartment already. I don't even get a house.
Do you? I mean, but now if we're on the outs, but some other stuff's happening on the side for me, and you're like, hey, we're done. I'm like, okay, well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Wow.
But so again, irregardless of that, it depends on where my frame of mind is, and how I feel about what your frame of mind is. But if you found a nice gentleman and you found him at the park. Because apparently that's where you're at looking for men, the gym, in the grocery store, or online dating. I mean, I guess in any of those configurations, I would say, okay, good for you.
Okay.
I would actually think it's probably weird. Like, wouldn't you, as a woman, which you are, right? Wouldn't it be more awkward to you if I tried to pick you up in the grocery store versus like I'm on an online dating platform for one reason. You're on an online dating platform for one reason. You know why you're there. Like, that kind of cuts out half the nonsense, right?
I guess that is true.
Because I'm not going to amble up on you in the grocery store, like going through the grapefruits, being like, hey,
Yeah, and I wouldn't give you the time of day.
Exactly. I would need to go to that grapefruit stand like multiple times before I even get your attention.
Correct.
So in the online, I cut out all that time.
Okay.
It's more efficient, perhaps. Now, I'm not saying it's more effective, but it's potentially more efficient, no?
I could see how it is.
I'm glad you can see that.
I just really don't want to find anyone else ever, so I don't have to worry about this.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, that's...
You don't want to be stuck with me forever?
Let's move on to the next question, shall we? Here's the next... again, so we asked... we're going to do this each week, and hopefully one of these days somebody actually responds to it. I put a post up on Facebook. Can you help with this, by the way, Steph? You've got such large reach. You're big in the Facebook community.
I think that's why Facebook's doing so well with
But
us.
nobody responded to my question for, like, ask us a topic and we'll talk about it on the show.
Oh.
I tagged you in it and everything.
I'll try.
Well, so this is a topic you and I have talked about that I think some people out there can relate to. And the topic is as follows. We have kids. Our kids are, one of them's of age to, be out and hang out with friends and sleepovers and such. The other one just plays with his cars. And so what do you do, Stephanie, when your kids have friends, and obviously their friends have parents, but you don't like your kids' friends' parents? How do you navigate this kind of situation? Because we're getting on that age now where, Addison's got some friends, she's going places, and we're starting to evaluate like, hey, do we want them or want her around these people or that person? Not that there's anything wrong with any of Addison's friends if they happen to listen. But that's a tricky situation to navigate. How do you suppose we go about doing this as we move forward with our life? Because apparently we're together forever.
This is a tricky topic because you don't want... I feel like if we tell our children, like, you can't be friends with them, then you then you're kind of like, then they're going to want to be friends with that person more. And we don't necessarily say that there's something wrong with the child. Like, the child could be fine, but the parent could be maybe not our favorite person or people. So I think there's also the vice versa is, what do you do when your kids' friends, parents, when you feel like they don't like you or us?
I'm good with that. Totally good with that.
Okay. Well, what do you think we should do when we don't like our kids' parents?
What do I think we should do when we don't like our kids' parents? I think
kids' friends' parents.
Yeah, I understand. I think we need to find creative ways to limit the amount of time they spend together.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we try and do if we are uncomfortable or maybe don't know the family very well is either maybe like, hey, this is going on at the park or something, like we'll meet there and we'll all be there together, or hey, your kid can come play at our house, but we don't necessarily let our child spend a lot of time at their house.
So at any point in time, do you tell our children or your children or the child that we don't like the family?
It depends. So our older one is at the point where it's just kind of like, sometimes you have to tell them because they don't get it. For example, we have been out with family and friends, not family, just friends and their family. And they're like, oh, we can take your daughter home with us so that she could stay later. But the parents have been drinking. And I say, no, I'll take her because I don't drink normally. And I certainly don't drink and drive. And so our daughter has been like, no, please, 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 please let me go with him. Please let me go with him. Please let me go with him. And I'm like, absolutely not. And like trying to get her to like get the hint. Like, this is not okay. I'm not changing my mind on this. There's a reason why. And so I have had to tell her, like, once we do get in the car and it's just her and I, like, hey, this is why. I just need you in the future not to be so like insistent on it, so that I promise you I have a reason why. And it's not that I'm just trying to keep you from having fun. So it is hard because you don't want to give them too much information, and they're not adults yet, but you also want them to understand like there's a reason why.
What's difficult about all of this is that I didn't hear a word of that. So UCF just got seeded 9th in the tournament. So I hope you guys enjoyed Mrs. E's advice on that, because I actually didn't hear a word of what she just said. As I look at my my UCF Knights bracket here, tune into the Sons of UCF for more information on that. Hopefully you gave good advice.
I think I did. Well, I don't know that I gave advice. I just said that I do explain to my children that, well, my older one, like, there's a reason why. So I don't know. It's definitely a hard topic. We've also had some like instances, like just knowing that families might have guns in the house or the car, and even though they might be locked up and stuff, it's really hard territory. Like, you don't know like what the right answer is. So if you guys know,
yeah, let us know. Or if you have any updates on the UCF VCU matchup with potential to play Duke for the second game, which is not great, not favorable at that point. You can certainly hit us back. Hopefully you enjoy Mrs. E's. That's a glimpse of what this show would be like if it was Up in Stephanie, which luckily for all of you, it's not.
This show is almost over. Great. Now I have to talk to my parents.
All right. Well, that's the end
of this show already.
Well, this episode.
Oh. It was fun.
Why'd you act like you were surprised by that? We literally were just talking before I hit the record button about, do we want to talk more? And you're like, I want to just get this over with. But here now
you act. Supposed to tell people.
Here now you act also. Here's the problem with this show, right? Yeah, I'm a creative genius.
Yes, you are.
And so like you can't rush creativity.
As you just told me.
This one here is like, are we ready? Are we ready? Are we done? Are we done? Are we ready? Are we done? What are we talking about? Are we done? Are we done? Are we done? I'd rather get over with it. Why to get over with? You just don't get creativity and genius over with.
I don't sit still well.
Which is weird because that's pretty much all you do.
That's not true.
You sleep all day or you vacuum.
That's not all I do. OMG.
Or you sit on that chair. You steal my chair. And you steal my table every time to put your stuff on
to
there.
work because you stole my office for the podcasting.
You can sit right here. I'm not podcasting Monday through Friday from 8 to 7.
But then you get annoyed that my papers and my computer are on your desk.
If only there's a way to get them out of the way. How do we just move them when you're done? It's not hard. Pick your stuff up when you're done. Move it to your new place.
Well, I work throughout the day, so I know you're laughing at that. So then I would just be rushing in here right before you come home from work to get all my stuff.
But when you're done with your work, just close your laptop, take your materials, and walk out the door.
Yes, I'm also just afraid that I'm going to mess up all this stuff.
Yeah, just don't touch stuff, and that's fine. But instead, you just leave your stuff laying. Again, you people are so fooled by Stephanie. It's not even funny. The amount of things that she portrays herself to be clean, organized. Wait until we get further in this show. I peel the curtain back on what really goes on around here. Those of you who know Stephanie will be astonished.
That is not true.
Astonished.
I will admit I don't put the toilet paper on the toilet paper.
You never. You haven't in at least 5 years. I will unearth some truths on here, and I will bring you
down
evidence of Stephanie's just the shell game she plays with all of you around her cleanliness, her organization, her thoughtfulness. I cannot wait until that gets exposed.
Me either.
So check back for episode 3 because we're gonna start diving into the myths that are Stephanie. Until then, hey, we thank you guys for listening. We're really serious for a second. You guys listen to us for some reason. I don't really know why. Hopefully you did. I wish actually more of you would. So
tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your coworkers. Tell somebody you like. Tell somebody you don't like. I don't really care. But for any of you to actually take the time to hit the download button and play and listen, that's cool of you. We appreciate it. We're just two normal, people, family situations here. And actually, real quick, do you want to do a challenge? We got the brackets that are being unveiled as we're speaking today here at St. Patrick's Day when we're recording this. We should do a couples bracket challenge. So our friends or people who listen, couples, man, woman, or man, or woman, whatever. Each family couple thing submits their bracket, and we'll see who the winner is. And the winner of said bracket, maybe we find some sort of a Up and Adam prize.
Okay.
So the Myers, if you're listening, the Faines, if you're listening, the Allens. I don't think Courtney gets this far usually the show. If you are, Courtney, thanks for the music, by the way, lyrics and loops. You guys, forgetting anybody that listens. That's pretty much everybody that listens. My sister, if she made it this far, we should do a couples.
Congratulations on your engagement.
My engagement?
No, your sister.
Oh, my sister's engagement. Way to go, sister. Maybe more importantly, if you win the bracket challenge, that would probably be a big deal for you too.
For me?
No, for her.
Oh
My goodness. All right. Well, look, Stephanie, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.